Wow, thank you guys for that amazing welcome. Probably one of the best I've ever received. It is awesome to be here tonight, and I am so excited to share my story with you. You know, people always ask me why it is that I joined the military, and ultimately, it all goes back to this. You see, when I was in grade school, I played the piano. So when all my classmates went off to band practice at the end of the day, I was sent to work in the library. Now, not only did I become an expert in the Dewey Decimal System, but it was there that I first saw photos like the one that you're going to see here. You see, when I was done shelving books, I would go hide behind a chair in the corner in the military history section, and I became obsessed with books about Vietnam. And at the age of 11, decided I wanted to be at the Army, and made my parents sign me away at the kitchen table when I was 17. And after 9/11, I found myself here. This is one of my favorite pictures of the children in Baghdad that I helped. They became a big motivator for me, even beyond my years in the military. But when I came home from this, I had no idea where my life was going. How do I take the skills and experiences that I had, relate them back to the real world, and still make a difference in people's lives? That was when I figured out that I wasn't, in fact, alone, but I just needed to get myself back out there into the world. So that's exactly what I did. I introduced myself to as many people as I could. I learned to listen to other people's stories, because I had one to tell too. And that was what the key to my success was just learning to listen what other people cared about. And so I became a financial advisor. Suddenly, instead of things like those smiley, underprivileged kids being my motivation, it was things like money and women and white BMWs with beige leather. But as I looked around, my fellow veterans were becoming financially destitute. My own priorities were a mess, but who was helping them? I looked around, and I saw nothing. Absolutely nothing. Sure, there was help once they were broke and homeless, but what was being done to keep them from falling that far? I couldn't find anything, because even this help was marginal at the very best. You see, since 9/11, over 1.9 million veterans have left the service. That's big enough to be the 5th largest city in the country. That's bigger than the city of Phoenix. Can you imagine that? An entire metro area full of Gulf War II veterans. Now imagine that 75% of them have no idea how to get a job. These are people that have made tremendous sacrifice for our country and now have no hope to provide for their own family, which is why 300,000 of them have ended up homeless. People like Sergeant Fast Freddy. He is 1 in 4 of the homeless population who have served in the military. And even though he has nothing, he networks with other homeless veterans because he knows the value of sticking together. Because for people like Fast Freddy, suicide is now one of the leading causes of death. It is outpacing overseas casualties at the rate of 1 every 80 minutes. That means just in the time we're sitting here tonight, we've lost 2 or 3 more. At that pace, that is over 6,500 veterans this year. That could be one of the largest employers in the state of Arizona. That's bigger than Cox Communications and CenturyLink combined. And most of those suicides are due to depression caused by financial hardship. The good news is that over the next few years, as we scale back operations, millions of veterans are going to be returning home to their families full-time. But how long before they become a different, horrible statistic? This is where the help needs to be. Not when they're broke, homeless, and suicidal, but when they're excited to be back to provide with their family. Most of them, just like me, have too much pride to ask for help, which is why instead of being afraid, we need to be the ones to offer. But let me ask you a question. Is this somebody that you would be afraid of? I can tell you, during my time in business, that most companies would probably give their Christmas bonuses to have an employee who is willing to ride a little boy's bike in their work clothes to make a customer laugh. Now, as a 2-time combat veteran myself, I never expected anything to be easy. I never expected a handout. But I did expect the country that I served to protect to do just a little of the same for me. So how can you help? I'm sure most of you know a veteran or can find one. Or I can help you. What I want you to do is help teach them what helped you become successful. They don't need much more than that. It's only going to cost you time, and I promise they've given enough already. So I'd like to ask you all, with Veterans Day less than 3 weeks away, to make this your mission too. to help just one. Because if not us, who? And if not now, when? Thank you.